This is the equipment section of the Volar Splint Plaster. You will need some tepid water, a Chuck's pad so you don't get plaster all over your patient. You could use plaster rolls or plaster slabs. You'll need some scissors, cotton, ace wrap, and if you have Stockinette, which will make it nice and neat at the end for the finish. The second section, this is the padding section for the Volar Splint. Of course, have your patient ready to go on the table with a bump is what we're doing in the video, but you could do this on a stretcher, you could do it in a hospital bed, you can do it in a wheelchair. Just have all your equipment ready, have your patient's arm in position. Positioning is key. With these splints, especially the Volar version, you normally want to keep a 0 to 15 of an extension, not flexed forward at the wrist. And then you kind of don't want them supinating, pronating, unless you're doing some kind of manipulation, which then I would probably recommend picking a different splint because this is just a Volar slab for the Volar splint, so the support it gives is mainly for the rest. But first off, you'll start with that stockinette that I've already placed on, cut a hole at the same C-joint, slide them down. Next, you'll take another stockinette, 2 inches what I used here, you can use 3. I fold it over on itself so it's double layered around the thumb, and then I reposition them back into where I need them to be. Because your patient is going to try to move, you will have to reposition, possibly several times, telling them to stay still. Really depends if you're dealing with a kid or adult. Next, you'll have to do the cottoning. Start at the wrist or the palmar crease area. You can do 3 to 4 layers at the end point at the polar or the palmar crease, but at the wrist you want to stick to 50-50. Work your way down the arm. Try not to have any major wrinkles because you don't want to cause any kind of digging in by your splint. The other end point is at the bottom. 2 finger lengths is what we use as a projected measurement. It's to measure 1 inch. Mainly you're trying to avoid them when they bend or flex their arm for the splint to hit on the bicep region. So you don't want that digging in. So leave some space, 2 fingers, arbitrary little measurement that normally gets the job done. Next, I put a ribbon, which is a tiny piece of folded over cotton around the thumb space, just in case any plaster may try to encroach there. It is padded, so they shouldn't have a problem. And our demo patient did a great job at holding position. His acting career is looking bright for his futures. Good job. This is the plaster component of the Volar plaster splint. Remember to position your patient, have them still in a good position, don't let them ulnar or radial deviate, supinate, pronate, all that. Keep that positioning because you don't want to lose it. Next, we're using rolls in this video. Normally 10 to 15 layers is what you're aiming for with the plaster. Also the palmar crease and then the 2 finger lengths from the elbow crease is your measurements we're going for this. Your padding should have been passed, so you have some padding to fold over the edges so the edges don't cause pressure points or digging into the patient. Once you've got your measurement of your plaster, you will need to dip it in your tepid water, not hot. I've seen hot water do damage, so do not have hot water. Tepid, cold water, it's going to take a while to dry, but safer for your patient in the long run. Then laminate it out with your thumb and the other fingers to get the water out and to cover all the little holes with the plaster material. You can cut if you're a little long. You can also fold like I did in the video. I folded back off the thumb area, I folded down on the volar area of the palmar crease, and I folded a little bit back at the bottom to reach my 2 finger lengths. Once you've done all that, this is a tack down portion. Take that beautiful cotton and tack it down. You do not need to do a 50-50, just cover up all the plaster so it does not stick to your ace wrap, which would of course make it harder to take off. Though if that is what your doctor has ordered, then do it. And then hold positioning, and all done with plaster. This is the final section for the Volar plaster splint. It's the folding and finishing. Folding down your edging with your stockinette. I do the thumb first, nicely fold it down and get it as a nice finish. Next, I'll take scissors to the PIP section on the second, where I then will pull it away from the patient to cut it, because you don't want to cut it flush to the patient just in case you nick them. So make sure to pull it a little bit away, then cut. And make it big enough where it folds neatly over the thumb. Next, you'll fold down the rest of the edging. That will go over that Volar palmar crease area for the padding over the splint, because you don't want that rough splint edge to be the part that's making contact. You want your cotton that you had a little bit extra past the palmar crease to be the edging, and that's stockinette. Then you will need the ace bandage. Unfortunately, we had a technical difficulty. The ace bandage didn't come with clips and didn't come with Velcro, so it was defective. So we had to go get another one. But I kept it in the video just to show that not everything goes to plan sometimes. So you will have to go get another ace bandage. You will have to readjust, and sometimes if the patient messed up position, you'll have to restart your splint. So I start at the wrist with my ace bandage. This one has Velcro, which makes it nice to tack. I do not use the hole cut for the thumb because it tends to dig in. Some people make it perfectly, but it's not worth taking the chance of it digging in around the thumb area or causing swelling issues to the thumb or cutting circulation off. So I just do a cut from the bottom and put it through the web space between the first and second. Next, I come down with the ace bandage to lock it in place. You come around the back and then lock those little pieces in place that you have from coming through the web space. Next, you'll keep going down, anchoring everything in place snugly. You don't want to pull crazy tension, but you do want it firmly placed on. This one has Velcro, so I was able to just attach it. And then you just keep holding position until they're done. At this point, you can put them in a sling if doctor wants, or you can let them go, but just make sure they elevate.